Welcome to Simplified, where today we are thrilled. Why are you thrilled, you might ask, dear listener? You might know that we have a tendency to skirt controversy in this show. And that's because your hosts are cowards and like to stay alive. But now, because of completely non-political reasons, we can finally speak about Jammu and Kashmir on this show. Yes, thanks to Lithium deposit, it seems. All I can tell you, dear listener, is that the mood is upbeat here at Simplified HQ. What next? Asks the panel. Perhaps we will find that Godhra is the UNESCO declared best place in the world to manufacture solar panels. Maybe Ayodhya will turn out to have all the conditions required for world-class Bitcoin mining. Yes, Simplified panelists dream of the day that northern part of Uttar Pradesh will become a tourist hub, meaning we can finally speak about it on the podcast as being Musafir Nagar rather than Musafir Nagar.
Wow.
Or perhaps in our wildest fantasies, marijuana will be legalized across the country and it will turn out that Kota produces the best quality stuff in the world, meaning that youngsters from all over the country will throng to the city to hang loose rather than what they do currently, which is hang with a noose.
Wow.
Today we have some rare earth elements on the show. First, we have a substance, if absorbed in small quantities, can cause irrepressible amounts of wordplay. Indeed, he once was so high on himself, he started selling himself out to the minimum bidder, saying, I will make wordplay for money, before someone told him to stop acting like a cruciverbal slut, to which he replied, are you saying that my element is a son of a or, Tonius Sebastus? And then we have a man who is always in his element, but then weaves a compound story before ending with the story of a Mallu uncle who tries to act hip in front of his daughter's friends, calling them molecule. No? Oh, too bad. Ignore. Up and atom Narendram Wodehouse. And I'm Srikeit is not here.
And of course, Chuck is very famously a rare.
Yeah, Chuck generating more groans than old furniture, rusty hinges, and the prices of petrol.
Chuck is famously a rare down-to-earth element.
So,
well played.
Nice.
Well played.
That's nice. That's nice. Down to earth element. That's nice. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Chali is down to earth only.
Chali is down to earth. Wow, that's a deep cut. Anyway, yes, we are today talking about the news that India is going to be a $15 trillion economy by the end of next year, because we have apparently found a very in-demand element within our shores or mountains. So Naren is here to bring us all this.
Yeah. So what is common to these things? Okay. Heat-resistant glass, grease, antidepressant drugs.
Lithium.
Yeah. So antidepressant. It's also an antidepressant drug. Huh?
Greece has lithium?
Not the country.
There is something called lithium grease, which we have used. So it's an expensive grease, which is used in certain kind of applications. Yeah.
Nice. You could have also mentioned Nirvana's discography. That also has a song called Lithium inside. So that could have made the question even more eclectic, I felt. Appealing to the grunge rock audience in the demographic in the audience. So Naren, you have spent the last...
How prevalent is lithium in the world?
Considering lithium...
Tony, because thanks to the hardworking Indians, it is.
No, but I was wondering, is there a correlation between, being lower in the atomic number and prevalence?
So
like
it is
hydrogen, helium,
actually.
and carbon.
It is, and there is a reason for that, right? So when hydrogen atoms collapse on each other, they become helium, and helium atoms collapse on each other, they become heavier elements, and so on.
It becomes
everything will happen.
Very bad.
So you would expect that lithium would be quite abundant. But
atomic number
paradoxically,
and now all politicians are falling over each other to announce this news. Sorry, I'll keep quiet now for some time.
Actually, that came as a pleasant surprise. Someone apparently forgot their stash of lithium and the government has now latched onto it. So it has seized the stash of 5.9 million tons of lithium and is going to be...
If they find lithium in Ladakh, it will basically be Lely.
Oh, wow. Nice. Nice. Oh, wow. Brilliant. That was a bit of a slow burn, which I assume lithium also is. Nice. So, yeah, now India has the fifth largest reserves of lithium in the world.
Generally a good thing. Because, first of all, lithium is not abundant, not as abundant as expected, but it's not really rare. It's not all that scarce. The problem is that it's not evenly spread. So most of it is in a triangle called the Lithium Triangle. That is Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. Like beautifully, that triangle has the coordinates A, B, and C. So you can totally make geometry questions and all. What is the angle between B and C, A and C, A and B? Everything.
Oh, nice.
So that is and the largest producer is Australia for some reason. But these guys have a lot of lithium. And
as in ABC are not mining or like are not processing.
They are just
Keeping
mining lithium, extracting. So there are lithium basically occurs in two forms. One is as an ore and the other is in brine. So that's how it is present in South America. So it has this huge desert and beneath the desert are pools of water which have been drying over the last millions of years. So it's very, very high in concentration of salts. And it has a high concentration of lithium as well. So basically the only way you can extract lithium is electrochemically. You can't, normally how metals are extracted are you mix an ore with a reducing agent and then you light up the whole mess and then the oxygen goes with the reducing guy and the metal is left behind. But lithium is so reactive that, it will basically take off with the oxygen. So you can't do that. So they have to use electrochemical methods. Same with aluminum.
What is the ore of lithium called? Anything we've heard?
Peda something.
Oh, okay. Nothing.
It's something which will be fun to ask people when they've had a couple of drinks. So, yeah.
I thought he's saying hectorite.
No, there is some,
There's petalite, there is lepidolite, and there is spodumene, our producer.
Okay. No, as a qualified metallurgical engineer, I thought I should have heard this. I've never heard of them.
I'm a chemical engineer also, by the way. We are downplaying our qualifications for this particular episode. I think we have done.
You know how synergy, when you have three things or three people come together and the sum total of all their abilities is, greater than their individual sum total. I think the sum total of all our ignorance is far greater than our individual ignorance. So we are like that kind of ignorance synergy, that is, yeah.
Oh, ignorance synergy. Oh, wow, ignorance synergy. Also, you said if lithium will combine with oxygen and then take off, right? That completely makes sense because Leo Messi is typically so it's completely fine.
And it's from Argentina, so.
And it's there we go. And it's a messy process.
Cracked it wide open. Yeah.
But why, Naren, let us get to before we get very carried away, why this brouhaha around lithium? Like, why is it so in demand right now? Why is it?
Yeah, so of course it's got very, very valuable uses as grease and high temperature glasses. But there is a small use case which is in batteries, right? So it has the highest energy density. So it's a lot like engineering college students, right? Because it has, it's not like engineering college student except in one thing. For example, lithium has high energy density. Engineering college students don't have high energy density. Then lithium has something called low self-discharge, which engineering college students don't have.
Again, mostly male.
But one thing which they see eye to eye is they have something called no memory effect. So engineering.
Wow.
It has been known to happen that people have stumbled across our episodes while, like, say, on a podcast app. They're like, okay, I have an exam, say, organic chemistry tomorrow. Let me search for an intelligent podcast because the signal to noise ratio on podcast is generally higher. If the dear listener, you are one of those who's landed on this episode with a chemical engineering exam tomorrow or something like that, please pause this episode for now. Go back to Perry's Chemical Engineering Handbook. That will teach you a lot more for the purpose of passing. Or on the other hand, continue listening to this podcast because it will ensure that you have one more jobless year in college where you can continue listening to this.
Hey, what are you saying? But Chuck, just going back to your accusations of me being a cruciverbalist, let me tell you, at the heart of Simblified is
lithium.
Lithium.
Is lithium. Oh,
Yes.
oh, God. It was there all along. Wow.
We just never noticed it. Like the lithium deposits in Jammu and Kashmir.
Amazing. Okay, so Naren, please take this off to where it's
Now
supposed
that we know that we have lots and lots, we have 5.9 million tons of lithium no one happened to be using, and so we took it. What do we do with it? So obviously we are going to make batteries out of it. Lithium is the solution according to most tech bros. So this is the tech bro thing, right? A tech bro approach. And actually, I confess to being one of the tech bro myself, is that almost all of humanity's problems can be solved through technology. That's the solution. So we have been screwing up the world for the last couple of hundred, actually 10,000-15,000 years, but like a couple of hundred years with great intensity. And this is one way of saving the planet. That is everything going green. And so you capture electricity from the sun, store it into lithium ion batteries, use lithium ion batteries to go around from point A to point B, don't burn fossil fuels, don't increase the carbon emissions, and in a few years' time, everything will be back to, utopia. Everything will be just fine. So that's the tech pro solution.
It's like watching a Kurgazast video.
It's not very far from the truth in the sense that electric vehicles will be a very workable solution to the problem of transportation. So that's fine. What are the concerns?
But one question, Naren, we previously spoken about battery technology and how that's not been disrupted yet. And I think at some point you had mentioned that the next battery will probably not be a lithium ion one, right?
So that's that's what people. So lithium has some problems. So one is, despite having a very high energy density, some people feel that the energy density is not high enough. Not high enough for storing solar and wind power. So if you had really
which means like for cars, for greater range, etc., you'd ideally want something that is smaller.
For cars and other things, you need a power density to weight sort of ratio, right? So you need to be able to store a lot of power without really increasing the weight of the battery. So that's fine. That's fine for locomotion purposes. What if you don't have to look? You just have to have a really big bank of batteries storing electrical power, right? You have a million square kilometers of solar panels and you want to store everything. Batteries would be just the perfect thing. But we are nowhere close to being cost effective on that. So people are experimenting with different, materials. I think sodium is one, lithium, and everyone is very hush-hush about it because the person or the organization that cracks this will make a lot of money, because it has instant and universal application. So it's just going to make pots of money. So everyone keeps their research under wraps. So, but
just one question on batteries, especially lithium batteries. Naren, they're not particularly new, are they? Haven't lithium batteries been around for a while, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, they haven't.
Lithium-ion batteries have been around for a while, right?
They have. It was discovered. The process was discovered somewhere in the mid 1900s, but it wasn't until I think the 70s or whatever till it was. So lithium has its own problems, which if you charge a lithium ion battery, so it has what is known as a positive thermal. There's something called runaway heating. Thermal
so
runaway.
It becomes hotter.
Yeah, it's called a positive energy feedback cycle. It becomes hotter and hotter as...
fire hazard. I see that. Fire hazard and voltage limits. Yeah, okay.
Like some actresses these days, right? So every time they go to a plastic surgeon, they become hotter. And they become hotter and hotter and hotter, and they spontaneously explode. So lithium ion...
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
I suspect I'm being politically incorrect.
No, that's fine. We've done far worse in this episode already. We are going politically.
This reminds me of Donald Trump thing, right? So
of course.
Donald Trump was... something happened. Right. There was one Miss Universe. There was a Miss Universe somehow connected with Donald Trump.
Because he
I
used
think
to run
Donald
the
Trump's
fashion
organization
yeah.
made her
Yeah.
Miss Universe something, and then they had to take her crown away because she was getting bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And then she sued them, and I don't know what happened to that court. So my suggestion to Donald Trump at that point, he wasn't a president yet,
And
was
wasn't a
to,
simplified listener also.
instead of removing or taking her title away, you just change it to Miss Early Universe because she was expanding it a very high
Oh my
rate.
goodness. Oh,
And lawsuit and all, who needs her?
Oh.
She is Miss Universe, just Miss Early Universe.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
How do we get through the entire... How do we get through 2 James Webb episodes without you bringing that up? Anyway, back to lithium-ion batteries. Yes. So basically this technology has been around for a while, but has always been stymied, I suppose, by lack of easily available lithium. And now that there are commercial interests, people are mining. They found it in South America, so great. But now they're finding it in India, means even better. Now that the tech and basically all the incentives are kind of lining up, and this has...
No, there is one more
the
good
right
news. Yeah, there is one more good news for India is we have been excessively dependent on China. And China is, I might be hasty in assuming this, but I suspect China is not very good friends with India. So I was like, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it.
Good
but
friends period. Good friends period. I don't think there's anybody particularly who is thinking of China right now as their best friend. So I think it's fine. Yeah.
Picking up
It's a good
papa
thing
with
that,
everyone. Yeah. So
it's a good thing that Jammu and Kashmir is nowhere close to China. So
Yeah. Or any other
Nothing much
points
to
of
worry about.
contention. And by which I mean Kazakhstan, of course. They have caused... Yeah.
No, but I think this is going to be, I mean, you have your own source of lithium, figure out how to make batteries and
Yeah.
everything.
So this is interesting. So what happens now? Does this mean we can expect $15 trillion dollar economy by next?
Yeah, actually $15 trillion economy is not that unachievable, basically because dollars are getting just printed like crazy, right? So it's not, if there are 5 times as many dollars going around, it'll become a $15 trillion economy in like no time. So
yes,
that's not really
apart,
a big
Naren, but jokes apart. I think the truth is actually Naren needs a bit of a break. So we will grant him that. He will collect his bearings and then he will report back with what all this lithium means for India's economy, the green transition, and indeed the world. And of course, long-awaited lithium battery-powered simplified mobile. Simplified. Okay, that didn't work out right. Okay, see you on the other side. All right, and welcome back to Simplified. And Naren, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so, lithium, it's been found in the strangest of places. Before it was found in Kashmir, it was also found in Afghanistan. And good luck with getting anything out of there because, they have all these internal issues.
Yeah, because much like Simplified, we know that Taliban also has
lithium.
Lithium in it. Yes.
Hey, why?
So, but one of...
Wow.
Like Simplified and Taliban, anything with lithium in it is potentially not dangerous.
Destructive, explosive.
Yeah, destructive, explosive. No, not even that. We aren't. I mean, I don't think even there's a mosquito roaming around in my room, and I don't think even that mosquito considers me destructive. So it's.
Does Ecuador have the neighbors of all the countries that you said? Does Ecuador also have lithium reserves? Because then there could be a mosquito. There could be a mosquito. Quito.
Quito.
It is very
well played.
Geography-based joke. Social studies. So, Naren, are the lithium deposits that we found easy enough to mine, or are there any?
Yeah, so that's what the government is saying, and it is probably because it's a pretty much settled sort of science now. They know how to extract ore with the metal with the best possible efficiency, and they're going to go ahead and do it, and it will probably mean setting up a number of facilities, which is also, we are sufficiently industrially advanced to do that as well. The problem is that there is a lot of environmental damage. It needs a lot of water. It involves a lot of chemicals going into, So the problem with chemicals is this. The world is full of chemicals. Planet is full of chemicals. And it becomes a problem only when the concentration of chemicals in any one particular area really becomes high. And that's what metal extraction, metallurgy in general does. China is facing a similar problem. They have a lot of rare earth extraction facility. When they extract rare earths, they take only the rare earths and they dump the rest. And all the rest, basically the levels of, all these toxic metals, they go up 1,000,000-fold in the water. And then they start becoming toxic to humans. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a problem. Similar things are expected to happen when you start processing things like lithium on a large scale. And it will be on a large scale because just India, I think, will need something like 100 million car batteries over the next 10 years or something like that. It's some number of that order. And each battery, I believe, is something to the tune of 10 kilos. So you're basically talking about, 1 billion. Or, if you take one order of magnitude, like 10 million kilograms of lithium or something like that, which is a large quantity.
Yeah, 6 million tons approximately were found.
6 million tons is 6 billion kilos. So we will definitely use at least 10 million or 20 million or about those kilos.
I always remember how there's that famous thing, how people cannot deal with large numbers.
Yeah.
And the best example for that being 1 million seconds is 12 days, but 1 billion seconds is 32 years.
Wow.
So, when you say million, billion, it seems like. But Naren, this is the thing, humans cannot deal with large numbers. Practically. So when you get into trillion, billion, it's but to make the lithium battery is
as was evidenced by the recent Adani crash. They cannot deal with large numbers.
But to make lithium batteries, is lithium the only thing that is needed, or you need something?
So you also need cobalt because you need your electrode. I think the cathode needs a little bit of cobalt too, and it's vital that cobalt be there. And that comes, lithium also comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, but cobalt almost exclusively comes from Congo, and it's very expensive. So immediately the market value was known. Warlords and gangsters and criminals of all shapes and descriptions immediately set up shop in the Congo and just sort of forced the local public into working for them. They are and everybody, all these people, their supply chains are directly traced back to the cell phone end. These guys will be mining stuff and then sending it back to China, where it's converted into whatever form the cobalt is. And then it goes into batteries and it goes into your iPhone or your Android phone or whatever it is. And then
so basically no piece of tech can be completely clean in that sense.
Right? So that is the
Sad
problem. And what businesses do, what capitalism does is it first tries to hide the problem which is threatening their source of profit. So that's why you can't blame them, because their capitalism is defined by profit. If you make money, you're successful. If you don't make money, you're not successful. So you're, unless you make money, it's no use. So moment something threatens to affect your bottom line, the first thing is to hide it. And that's what's been happening for more than a couple of decades now. And now people are waking up to this and start off making noises. So you need to do two things. One is, they lie a lot. Okay, surprise. And they'll say that, everything, all this mining is automated and all. And then there have been, videos floating around on the internet, which clearly show literally thousands of people picking earth with a shovel and a pickaxe.
If you just search for Google images Congo cobalt, you will find several disturbing images.
So, and first of all, their living conditions are abysmal, and the pay they get, they're roughly living on $1 a day, which is like 80 rupees a day. It is pretty crazy. And the real solution to this is basically political transformation in that country, in Democratic Congo. But that's a completely different problem than this. So the question is, what do you do? Do you stop feeding this industry by having a demand for that product, or do you just try and keep buying the product, but also try to influence the supply chain so that the process is not so destructive? So Americans try to do the latter, right? So what they do is they want a material, and they want to go in and do good. And this time around, I believe the whole situation is in the control of Chinese companies. So they don't even allow American or European powers to get in. So it's pretty much a blank.
Yeah. And by the way, for those who are thinking, okay, why don't we just go to the second biggest player? The second biggest player is Russia right now. And the scale of this is the scale is absolutely astonishing. You can't see this graph right now, but the countries with the largest cobalt mining production in the world as of 2021, Democratic Republic of Congo is 120,000 metric tons. So just keep that number in mind, 120,000. Russia is second at 7,600. So it's like, that's how big the Gulf is. Then there's Australia, Philippines, Canada, Cuba, Papua New Guinea, and Madagascar. Seems like a complete scattershot of countries, right? Because like you don't have any other countries in mainland Africa on this list. And I say mainland because Madagascar is there, which is off the coast. And then you have, like, it's scattered, right? You have Cuba, you have Papua New Guinea. All these are like, there's lots of dense areas.
Yeah, but that's the intriguing thing, Why not in neighboring Uganda or Rwanda
why
or
not
whatever
good guys?
neighbors?
Like, why not, like, why doesn't Belgium have anything? Like,
Belgium.
Or maybe that's why they went. Maybe okay. Maybe. Okay. Slippery slope. Sorry. But yeah.
But a shout out to Belgium, which was probably the most evil damn regime in the world.
More than the Dutch.
Oh man, there was this guy named King Leopold of Belgium, who decided that Belgium didn't have any colonies and all these other guys had colonies. So he told his people to go get him a colony. And they went to what is now known as the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Oh wow, I crossed that bridge without even realizing. Okay.
He was so brutal.
No, I wasn't actually. I was just thinking of 4 nice countries right now. But I think they're all just overcompensating. No wonder Germany is so nice these days. Anyway, let's quickly move on.
But what I was saying was, if only Madagascar had come off with India, right? Because the Indian subcontinent was famously part of, they were together. Joined.
So now we will have both.
Yeah, cobalt and
we would have cobalt and lithium.
Yeah, and lemurs.
And lemurs. Anyway, Naren, what does all this mean for India now? So firstly, this is all very preliminary, right? It's not like this. This is in just first phase of discovery, right? It's not. We are not even sure how much of this is going to be used.
This is not a tax rate. This is a tax survey types.
This is a tax. Oh wow, highly topical. All right, nice. And if India is going to, even if all of it is usable, we are going to need a lot of infrastructure and technology, all that to set up to take advantage of all of this.
And the thing is this, after the recent developments of the last couple of years, a lot of countries, including America, decided that they don't want to be dependent on China, especially for things that can be found in their own backyard. It turns out that America has a big amount of lithium
in Afghanistan.
Oh God!
Man.
What does that mean? The George Bush meme? What installing democracy or something?
This country is ready for democracy.
Oh goodness! I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly Anthony Blinken wants to play a bigger role in Srinagar.
Sorry, Naren. So where does America have lithium in their backyard?
So it has all over the place. There is a huge deposit in a place called Thacker Pass in Nevada. So Thacker Pass in Nevada is with the blessing. It started during the Trump administration, but it has the blessings of the Biden administration as well. And they are on their way to begin extraction. And there is it's like in America, anything in America, there are voices of protest and, there's picketing and people sort of protesting, there isn't anything strong. So it is very, very, so what these guys are doing is there's a huge area. I forget how much it was, but it's like some 1,000 square miles. Okay. So what they're going to do is that they're going to make it into phased thing, like those real estate development projects. So you dig up one, then fill it up, then move to the next one. And by doing that, they say that it will minimize ecological damage and this, that, and the other. So what will happen is if they extract a lot of the lithium in that, they become self-sufficient in lithium. Other countries do too. The prices of lithium will actually crash. So it's not going to be all that valuable, is what I feel. I mean, it's not like it's not like finding oil yet.
Oh, okay. But like battery demand will continue to rise, no?
Yeah. Battery demand will continue. It's only that battery is the entire process is inherently expensive. So the battery costs tend to be high, and the cost of a battery is high not just because of the lithium in it. It's because of a lot of other things. It needs a lot of sophisticated electronics, you need cobalt, which all these friendly people in Democratic Republic of Congo have, everything. So it's not going to be cheap beyond a particular point. That said, anything which is mass produced has a way of becoming cheaper and cheaper over a period of time. Computers and cell phones are a case in point. Cars also. So if you look at the true value of cars, if you bought a car in the recent past, you know that the prices haven't really gone up all that much. Everything has gone up.
The taxes have though.
Taxes have gone up, but they struggle there. This is what competition and better manufacturing technology does. It makes, moment you decide to raise prices, along comes some guy and undercuts you 10% and you're like rude.
Yeah.
So, overall, I think it's a good piece of news that we found the lithium. Not a great part of this thing. And that 5.9 million tons by itself is not going to take us to $15 trillion unless the Americans decide to print that many dollars and send it across to India, which they might. But that's what it is. Yeah.
Completely tangential, unrelated question. Is fracking dead? What happened to that?
So, this I don't know. So I don't know. This is like something I have been unsuccessful in finding out the answer to.
If there are any oil experts, energy experts, etc., who is listening, who would like to.
But wasn't it like a big talk of the town like a few years back?
Yeah. So what happened was last time around when fracking started, fracking is inherently expensive. So fracking, you need the oil price to be above $60 or something a barrel for fracking to break even, something like that, some number, maybe $60, $50, $70, something. And that time, I think this was maybe 2016, 2015, whenever, the oil prices had gone way higher. So a lot of fracking companies came and everything was going fine. And then a recession happened and price of oil started going down. Till the point it went down to zero, if you remember, notoriously.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently...
Not in India, but...
not in India, but So... partly it was the economy and partly it was a concerted effort by the oil producing, the OPEC countries to kill fracking. So they managed to kill off fracking. They kept the prices low.
Yeah. And also maybe we just kept hearing about it in the media because it helped the US finally reduce its dependency on...
that's why
it did. So now this time what happened was one of the big reasons for inflation in the United States was oil and oil drives inflation a lot of other categories, right? So oil itself, because United States uses a lot of oil to get around, and price of everything become more expensive, like energy becomes more expensive, electrical power becomes more expensive, prices of commodities and articles and goods in your supermarket, everything becomes more expensive because transportation becomes. So if they had restarted fracking, that would have greatly reduced their inflation. But they couldn't because it's a capitalism, a free market thing. And no one was convinced. None of the oil industry people were convinced that fracking was sustainable. So they would, spend a lot of money, hire a lot of people, restart all the fracking units, and then Saudi Arabia will crash the price again. They would be dead. So...
Anyway.
Yeah.
Any further points to add on lithium then? For any youngsters listening to Simplified, what skills should they learn in order to take advantage of the upcoming lithium economy in
lithium
India?
economy.
Lithium fueled economy.
One is take your electrical engineering very seriously, unlike us. And there should be a lot of... there is this thing said about germanium, right? So germanium is the material of the future and it always will be. So lithium threatens to be like that. But that said, it's probably not as bad as germanium. And so this is the thing about, economy is when something starts, starts moving, a lot of other things start moving along with them, even if they are not deeply connected. So I think it's a good time for manufacturing, engineering, that kind of stuff in India over a period of next few years. For several reasons. One is China has been reading Dale Carnegie's book on how to make friends and influence people. So nobody wants to do anything with China anymore. It will become, right now, it is just because there is no alternative. But once, even tiny little alternatives start coming up, it'll move up. Yeah. So will it be in lithium too, is what I feel. One thing is, if you had to light your stove, and you had lithium and aluminum and
Gallium,
magnesium, gallium, germanium, what would you use? You would use lithium because it's a lighter metal.
Oh. This is that boat joke,
Boat joke, but repurposed. Nice. We like it. Okay, Naren, that was that was entertaining and strangely reminiscent of my engineering college days, but with a lot more bad jokes put in there, which is the way chemical engineering should have been in the first place. So, shall we sign off?
So it's been fun presenting this little talk. Stay safe, stay lighter, and stay simplified.